Welcome your hosts, Caddy, Frink, and Sarah Kemp, as they lead discussions about substance use disorder and the journey to recovery. You're listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution.
Hello out there.
Hello.
In Radio Land. This new music is still throwing me off a little bit, but that's okay. I got it. I'll get it.
I was waiting for the...
Yeah, no, that little tweak that
Yeah.
we have. Well, hello, everybody. This is Caddy at Minnesota Recovery Connection here with what show, Sarah?
Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution.
Woo! Yes, that seems to be the noise of the day. I think I've done it like 3 or 4 times.
Because it's so nice out and you're just in a really good mood.
I know. We had a good lunch at work. We'll tell the peeps about that. But we are here at AM 950, the progressive radio station. And
See, I can tell this is already going to be a little weird
it's
today.
going to be a little weird and wild, which is exactly the way recovery should be.
Yes, and how we are.
Yes. So, Sarah, let's make sure that we don't forget the way to start things off. What's right with you today?
What's right with me today is honestly, even though it's a little warm out, but the weather. There's something about this weather that just makes me so happy.
Yeah. We got kind of through that humid part about a week and a half ago. Now it's sort of more dry.
Oh, see, I missed that because I don't miss it. I missed it because I was in International Falls.
Oh,
and so it was cooler up there.
Okay.
And down here. So
it was.
I heard about it though.
Oh, it was melty mint here.
Yeah.
It was seriously melty mint.
Caddy, what's right with you today?
Oh, well, the weather's not so bad. Yes. The weather is great. And this weekend, I get to take my guy to an adventure. I'm not even going to say what it is because if he should listen to the show, I might give him, it's a complete mystery thing.
Oh my gosh.
But it's going to be fun. So I'll tell you all about next time, folks.
Is he excited?
He's intrigued, but he's not sure what the heck is happening. So we're just like, okay.
Just going to go along for the ride.
He's just going to go along for the ride. That, and also I get to get out in my garden. I haven't been out for a while because the rain has just sort of prevented that. So I'm going to go do a little gardening to even today. So it'll be fun. So here we are. Back at it again. Yes, we were on a repeat last week of the Pride Festival. Let's just do a little recap on how wonderful that was.
That was an amazing show.
Tell me more.
For the fact that you saw somebody that you trained within the Department of Corrections, you couldn't even plan that.
Not even
you couldn't even plan that happening.
No, it was more better than I could have ever imagined.
And so I think based on a conversation you had earlier this week, the importance of seeing people out in the community and acknowledging them, especially when they've been incarcerated, means so much.
And I think that can probably go for people who have been in treatment for a fair amount of time and then they get out and they're successful.
Yeah.
It's really, when somebody's had to go through a period of time where they've been
away.
Yes. I'm using air quotes here, folks, if you can't see me. Away for whatever reason. And then they get to do life.
Mm-hmm. In the way they want to, in a healthy way, in a recovery way.
Yeah. But always keeping in mind that slippery slope still lives deep inside us, right?
Everybody that has the substance use disorder.
Yeah. And also maybe has had some activity in their past. Yes, that has been not good for them. So I'm talking about people who have been incarcerated and done things to people, places, and things that they have done their time. They've done the good work and come out like the guy that we saw at Pride. There's just nothing better. Because I also saw 2 other guys.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
On Sunday?
I saw a gentleman named Brett and another gentleman named Carlos. And
that's awesome.
Let me tell you, there's just nothing better than seeing people that are sometimes they're at their lowest when they start the class, they're at their best when they end the class, and then when they are out in community, it's like it's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they've done the work.
They've done the work. They've done the time, literally. And now they get to be these really amazing humans. So
what was your takeaway from Pride?
Oh, look at you being all interviewer girl. My takeaway from Pride is that we have a strong community. We have a strong recovery community. We all have our space and our place that we inhabit,
And our sauce, our special sauce, as you call it.
our secret sauce.
Our secret sauce, that's right.
Yeah, no, special secrets all works the same. But I think what's interesting is that because we all have our own focal point, we can help so many people.
With they can utilize different organizations for their different needs.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I have said, and I have been corrected that when we think about treatment, it used to be like a one size fits all. You go in, this is what you do, this is how you do it, and this is what we have expectations of you coming out like. And we now know that that's not what recovery looks like, and not what treatment looks like, because you get out of that environment and then life starts again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not predictable like being in some place where you go by the rules, you do what you're supposed to.
You have a schedule.
Yeah, yeah. And so when we get to be at Pride, we get to see people and where they're at. And I had a wonderful discussion with a young girl that really, I've told the story a couple times. She came up and I said, "Hi, how are you? This is Minnesota Recovery Connection." And usually my intro line is, "Do you know anybody that struggles with addiction, or do you know anybody that struggles with substance use?" I try to use some language that people can identify with. And she was a younger girl, probably in her late teens-ish.
Oh, okay.
And she said, "No, none of my friends really use anything." I'm like, "Great."
Yeah, I was going to say, wow.
I know. And I was
for you to have friends that
don't have that issue.
Mm-hmm.
And then she looked at me and she says, "But I do with an older person." And I said, "Oh," and her question was, "What does it look like when somebody's using?" And I was like, "Huh." And so I told her, I said things like, sometimes people can be a little bit moody, or they can be really happy or high, activity.
Yep, depending on the substance.
Yeah. And also depending upon if they're in school, maybe their grades will slip.
Yep.
Or they're hanging around with a different crowd of folks. And they might just be sleeping all the time. They might not take care of their hygiene. And she's like, "Okay." And then she said,
"Did that resonate with her?"
Well, then she asked me, "What about an adult? What are the signs from an adult?" And I was like, "Oh." And I said, "Are you maybe talking about a parent or a grandparent or a," Sarah's got a cough, just so y'all know. She's trying
getting
to hide
over
it.
a cold.
And she didn't articulate exactly who it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I said most of those same symptoms apply, but it might for an adult, it might be that they're not going to work as much, and they're not being helpful around your home, or they're not doing the things that you used to. And she just walked away, and I think I could read between the lines on that one.
Yep.
And if it gave her some sort of way to understand it, I mean, that was one of the
planted a seed, it sounds like.
Yeah, that she was just like trying to understand what was going on. So, and my takeaway is being present with a whole bunch of different folks.
Yeah. And I want to give a shout out to all the volunteers that showed up.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate you showing up. I know the Sunday was a little rainy.
Yes,
in the morning
was a little rainy.
But I want to thank all the volunteers that showed up for Minnesota Recovery Connection.
Yes, and a huge shout out to the Pride Festival and all of their organization. It was slick as all get out. It was easy to load our stuff in. It was it was well done, as it always is. But I think, like we've learned for the Walk for Recovery, you fine tune
every year.
And you're like, got to change a little bit of this, change a little bit of that. What's your takeaway from your Pride time?
Having the recovery backyard, I know they've done like sober Pride things in the past, but having a designated area for different organizations to be under one tent.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like kind of a one-stop shop for people.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that they continue to do that.
Yeah,
every year.
I think that's the intention. And I also like the fact that they had some crash chairs around us too.
Yes.
So people could come and relax, and maybe they were part of our community or not, but they were like seeing stuff that wasn't,
they probably wouldn't have seen otherwise.
Yeah. So just a big shout out to Pride Festival and everything, and AM 950. You are amazing. You guys just rocked it out of the park with.
We had fun doing our live show.
We had a great time, and I'm sure the whole weekend was great. So, and I mean, that is the wonder of doing good radio and progressive radio and going into spaces and places where it looks a little different, but the voices are so important.
Yes.
So we're about ready to take breaks. So thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution. My name is Caddy Frink, and
I'm Sarah Kemp. Thank you for listening to Redefine. Oh,
that. Sort of soothing music here at Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution.
it's like jazzy, comforting music.
Yes, kind of contemporary. Yeah.
Still getting used to this.
Yeah, it's okay. It's
It
okay.
is.
Hey, change is literally what we might be talking about.
Oh my goodness! I just
know.
walked us into the topic of the day.
We did. So what are we?
We are redefining recovery, a recovery revolution here on AM 950 from Minnesota Recovery Connection.
I just totally like leaned on Sarah for that one.
Yeah, she did.
So I'm going to give a little credit where credit is due. The other day, I was listening to public radio of Minnesota Public Radio, and Angela
No, I don't
Davis. Yeah, Angela Davis has her program on.
Oh, I didn't think it was her.
Yeah, well, her guests were on it. Yes,
gotcha.
and they were talking about uncertainty. And it really resonated with some changes that Minnesota Recovery Connection has gone through, changes that the healthcare field has gone through, changes that recovery has gone through, changes with funding that's gone through, changes with everything. And
just life.
Or life, yeah. And so it just made me think about when we're feeling uncertain about things, one of the key things that was brought up, and I just like my brain just exploded on it. And that is one of the guests was talking about when we live in uncertainty, it's hard, but sometimes we need to just kind of live there.
Do we though?
Yeah, we do.
I know. I have a hard time.
Yeah, I'm very well aware of that. But I still love her. Don't worry about it. But one of the things that this particular guest, and I apologize, I can't remember. Absolutely go and listen to that show to educate yourself. But it talked about the cell phone, and it talked about how we now live in a world where if we've got a question or we're unclear about something, we pick up these little boxes and we can get some sort of answer, some sort of question figured out in theory right away.
Yep.
So we don't have to live in that like uncomfortable place. And you know what? Sometimes that uncomfortable place is exactly where we have to be.
And we're not used to it anymore because of the instant
gratification is what I would say. And the instant need for
information
and how it, we're so used to having the answers to the questions, but when we're in the recovery journey, early recovery, no recovery, don't know what's coming up next. I was talking to our staff. One of the things that Chris Kelly taught me way back in the past, and I always say this, I give credit where credit is due. If you're going to have a conversation about the community that we're in, which is recovery and getting better and trying to cope, is talk to your peers.
Yep.
So I talked to,
they know best.
They know what they know. And what we need to do is we need to all pull all that together. So I talked to Rachel and Patricia, and Sarah and I talked about this, and I think there might have been a couple other people in there. But when we're uncomfortable, we no likey. No. It's very, very uncomfortable.
No, and at least for me, it brings my anxiety. That's what it does for me.
Well, that's interesting. Talk about that.
So when there's change, depending on the magnitude of how big the change is, my anxiety comes up. Even though I know everything will work out, like I know this like logically, but no, I still don't know it.
Right.
There's that like, is this really going to work out? Is this? And then I go all sorts of different directions, even though they're crazy.
Well,
or not crazy, but they're not logical.
You're spinning.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're spinning in the what ifs.
Yes.
You're spinning in the what ifs.
And that's what I do sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody does to a certain extent, because when we're unclear about something, we're uncertain about what the outcome is going to be, sometimes we go to the worst case scenario. I think that's very common, right?
Yes.
And what we want to talk about today is that living in uncertainty, living in discomfort, is a lot about what recovery can feel like.
Yes.
It's overwhelming. Some of the list I kind of came up with when I was kind of prepping for this show.
She was on one this morning.
I was on it, friends.
She woke up thinking.
I woke up thinking. How it plays with addiction to me is when you are on your journey in your recovery space, you have a fear of failing, which doesn't necessarily mean that you use drugs again or drink alcohol. It's I am failing what I have set out to do.
Or fear of failing because they were in this safe environment. I mean, in theory, if like for me, for example, I was an inpatient, safe environment, kind of like a protected world, more or less. And then I came out and I wasn't ready.
Right.
But then I went back to active use right away. But probably partly because I wasn't sure what was going to happen. So instead of dealing with the uncertainty of it, I just ran to what I knew.
And that is a lot of why people go back to reuse, folks, is that they might get treatment or they might go to a meeting or they might just do their own recovery journey.
Yeah, because you didn't go to treatment.
Do your own recovery journey. And then I always say life happens. Life keeps life and all the time. So all of a sudden I question, am I in recovery? Am I really doing this? Because I'm spinning. I got those squirrels just running absolutely wild in my head. It's like, oh, well, my dad might judge me or my grandma might judge me or my partner might judge me.
And I'm wondering nowadays too with marijuana becoming more
available,
or some people still don't accept harm reduction. So people that are utilizing harm reduction, they may not feel like they're in recovery or use medical marijuana, because some people don't accept those things.
Yeah. And then methadone and Suboxone, all those different harm reduction. And really what they are is they're a medication to help you stave off your disease of addiction. So we have to call it. But you're absolutely right, because a lot of people have judgment. And so they feel like they're failing because they're not doing it the right way.
That's what I thought.
I know. Say that story again, because to me, it's so valuable.
Because when I came out of treatment, I thought I had to go to meetings because that's the way that I was told.
Yeah.
I didn't care for them. I tried multiple ones. I didn't care for them. They didn't work for me. And I thought I was doing recovery wrong.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't doing what you're supposed to do.
Right.
In air quotes. And I have a participant that I work with. And we have this conversation, I feel like, every time we meet, because she needs that reminder that it's okay.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I don't really like them. I'm like, that's fine.
Don't do them.
If you like spending time with your people and in your garden with your kids and your hamster, fine.
Yeah.
That's what works for you. And you're staying in your recovery because of those things. Who's to say that's wrong? And she's so appreciative when I remind her that's okay.
Yeah. And I think that's where people have a perception, because I think there's a lot of people who love people who have struggled with addiction and they are trying to help them, again, air quotes. And it's like, well, why aren't you doing this? And why aren't you doing that? That can bring that uncertainty into the person who is really trying to still figure out who they are, what they are, how they are. And the more geeked out I get about the science of addiction and the effects of chemicals on the brain, it takes a long time for people, particularly with methamphetamine, with meth, to come back to the person that they are going to be.
Yeah.
It might not necessarily be exactly the same person.
Oh, it won't be, because the brain changes.
Yeah, the brain changes. So the expectations of somebody else on you can make you uncertain about, like, are you doing it right?
And too much pressure too.
And so part of this conversation is to make people comfortable with being a little uncomfortable, which means the person that is in recovery is struggling, and then the people who love the people who are struggling with their recovery, they're uncertain about it. There's one of our employees, she told me a story about how her family periodically questions, is she doing what she should be doing? Is she are you doing what you're supposed to?
That's the bad, can I say bad word? Supposed to.
Yeah, because nobody knows what another person needs. You might have heard it on a TV show. You might have watched Intervention. You might have watched, all
I've seen
kinds
all
of.
those episodes.
Yeah, I know. So we haven't we all sort of, but that's that person. That might not be your person in front of you. So having those expectations about people, and we talk about this in class when we talk about being a peer recovery specialist, your expectations cannot be put on somebody else.
Because if they don't meet what you think that their expectations are, then you're let down.
Yeah.
When in reality, they're doing what's right for them.
And then your part, whoever's part it is to ask them, what do you expect from yourself right now? Where are you? And so it's really understanding, the other part is that everybody who is on a journey of recovery themselves or the people that care about people, there is just inherent uncertainty about it all.
Yes.
Because it is an unpredictable little monkey on a lot of people's backs. 25 years in, don't think about it too often, but every now and then I'm like, oh, that was a Sarah noise.
It was. Wow. We've worked together for too long then.
What? Nah, I don't need to. But it doesn't matter how long one's been in recovery, but we need to be given confidence that, you know what, you can be on a slippery slope, but just before the slip is truly the slip happens, let's try to, let's put a little, put a little foot stop in that
block
one.
in it,
Block
so
in
then
that.
it-
Yeah.
Yep. And I feel like maybe sometimes summer might be a season for some people because you're out on patios, you're out, like you're just out more.
Mm-hmm.
You're more social than in the winter sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So summer can be, because I think I said this last time, I don't know. Dozy said that she's had a lot of participants once the warmer weather came, had reuses.
Really?
So, I mean, my guess is because it's warmer out, you're out more.
Well, you're socializing because we can.
Yeah.
And socializing in the greater portion of our population is going to have some sort of substance to use because that's just what is normal. Another air quotes.
Mhm.
We're air quoting
all day
over the
today.
place. Yeah. And then people they fall into old habits. They fall into old communities. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's the community that is trying to help somebody to recognize, hey, wait a minute, you know what, maybe we make sure that, Susie is over and they've got other people around that are either in recovery or understanding of this.
Where she is and
where
what she needs. And
or Susie brings a friend that
buddy
is
system idea.
It's really, really helpful because what we can do is we can then question. If we even go to a party where people are serving stuff, whatever they're serving, we might even question, should I be here? Should I not be here? I don't know what I should do. Should I do this? Isn't this good idea?
And I feel like especially in early recovery that happens.
Yeah. I'll tell you, even in long-term recovery, I can go to something where, I was thinking about this, events that I've been to that don't necessarily hover completely around the recovery community, but are where they have open bars.
Oh.
And I just think, okay, how am I I don't want it, and I'm not interested in it.
But you see it.
But I see it. And it's this old little memory way back there. And it's like, oh, I used to do that. Oh, that didn't work out well.
And it's not fun.
No, all of it is not
No.
fun. But we become a little bit less confident potentially about where we're at. And so one of the things that Rachel told me is she graduated from RS Eden, which is a treatment center in the Twin Cities. And she graduated in December. And she didn't leave the environment because she could stay there until March, because she was still really uncertain, uncomfortable about how she was going to navigate out of that, because she was just worried.
Yeah.
She had used meth for a long time and she had gotten the message, but the fear and the next steps were so, I would imagine, I'm going to use my words, not hers, were intimidating. And if I get out there, am I going to be okay?
Yeah. And I think, not to just always use methamphetamine as an example, but that's my lived experience. The anxiety that can happen coming off of methamphetamine is strong.
is real.
And it's a lot more mental.
Mhm.
It's a mental change that you got to go through.
Mhm.
So it's hard. I mean, I'm not saying like the other ones aren't hard, because I know I figure they are, but meth, it's more mental, which can play a lot of games with how you think, how you feel.
How you process a situation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and I can equate that to alcohol too, in the way that when I was drinking back in the day and then I stopped, everything I still did was social because that's who I am.
Yep.
And I would go to places where alcohol was. And so, and it's legal, unlike meth, which you have to kind of hide and find.
Yep.
Anywhere I went,
Yep.
booze was right there. And so I had to be strong, but I also had to realize that I couldn't play out the consequences again, because either I'd be dead or I'd be in jail. I've said that time and time again, because there's just no way I would have avoided
Playing the
that.
tape forward.
Yeah. And it's interesting. So when, the whole idea behind this conversation is that if somebody's uncertain and uncomfortable about where they're at, it's not about, well, you're doing it wrong or you're not doing it right, or why this or why that. It's like, what are you feeling?
Yeah. Have a conversation with that person.
Yeah. And one of the things that Patricia told me was really practicing forgiveness. Because when we practice forgiveness, and she said something that I kind of blew your mind on, practicing forgiveness in a lot of situations, but even when people are wrong.
Yeah.
Or they don't apologize for whatever they did.
Because the longer you hang on to a grudge, the more detrimental it could possibly be on your mental health. Or just carrying around anger is so exhausting, or carrying around resentments is so exhausting that it can then start impacting other parts of your life.
Mm-hmm. And I think what comes to my mind when you said that is that when we are in our recovery space, there are going to be people out there that either don't trust us, don't like us. We were, in the game with whatever that game might be. And they see us and we're in recovery, and they will just push some stuff on us. They're like, well, yeah, you think you're better than me. You think you got that all, I'll see you back here.
Yep.
I've heard those stories before from people because they have to go back to the same community that they came out of. And that could be a real trigger for people.
And easily just say, okay, well, fine then, if that's what
you all think about me,
then I might as well just
whatever.
Yep.
And so it's really respecting somebody who is on their recovery journey, whatever that looks like to them. You need to get on their train versus them need to get onto your train.
Yes.
Ooh, that was good.
Yeah, you should write that one down.
I gotta write that down. Yeah. Here, you write it down because I'll forget.
Okay.
It just, it's like we have to understand. A person who doesn't struggle with substance use disorder is never going to understand somebody who did get addicted. Because if you don't got the mental space, you don't have that addiction in your mind. But then I would like you all to think about your addiction to your phones, or your addiction, or your addiction to gaming, or your addiction to food, smoking, vaping. There, you might not have the substance use disorder with the substance that is either illegal or has gotten somebody into trouble, but I'll promise you, I'm quite suspect that we all have a habit or two that we'd like to put down. So we're not all clean all the time.
No. And I think these phones are, how many times when my boyfriend and I are at home and he's like, I wish we didn't have to have phones.
Mm.
He was like, I wouldn't have one if I didn't need one.
Yeah. I'm kind of that way too, even though I'm terribly addicted to reels.
Yeah, because he's like, I should really stop looking at Instagram. I'm like, well, you've been sitting there for like 5 minutes. But it's just so easy.
And this is the thing about addiction. It can be very in your face, using methamphetamine, drinking too much, getting DWIs, getting arrested, having all that. That's like blatant. That's in your face. But then there's these other things that people do that they aren't bad, but they want the dopamine hit too. You eat a good chocolate cookie. No,
wow.
I'm not looking at Sarah at the lunch we had.
Jeez, I might have had 3.
Well, at least you didn't have 5.
No, exactly. That was my original number.
But it's like there are other things that people have, and I'll use the word addictions, but they're used to having and they like to have that they might use more of that they wish they maybe didn't.
Yeah.
Have that kind of empathy for somebody who is struggling with other things. You need to give yourself a little grace and also give grace to other people. And if somebody calls you out on you've been on your phone for 2 or 3 hours, maybe, I don't know.
Is that a real life story?
Oh, yeah. My guy will come upstairs and I'm still sitting in the same chair, in the same position with the same phone in my
Oh
hand.
my goodness.
And he's like, "What you watching?" And I'm like, "Nothing.
I would love, and I don't know why I just thought of this,
Tell me more."
a social experiment where we didn't have phones, just to, like, for a day,
We should.
and just see what happens.
We all lose our
I know.
minds.
But I'm just saying, to see how
I can see humans running down the street going, "Ah!"
probably, but it would just, I don't know.
Well, Eric, my guy, your guy, same name. He bought himself a little, I call it a little tin box that he cut a hole in so he could at least charge the phone. It's like his little phone coffin. And last night,
He made it or he bought it?
well, we bought it and then he cut the little hole in.
Oh, gotcha.
And he did that so that he could put his phone someplace, still have a charge, but out of his hands.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And so that's why I called the phone coffin, because I texted him and he didn't answer. So I went and I found out that it was actually where it should be. But okay, we got all over the place. But
no,
we know I want people to understand that addiction is not just drugs and alcohol.
Yes.
Addiction is everywhere in our society. It's gaming, it's texting, it's phones, it's reels, it's gambling, it's sex, it's food, it's sugar, it's carbohydrates, it's
caffeine,
it's writing, walking, running. You hear people that are over exuberant in that.
The exercise too much.
You're looking for that happy juice that you mentioned earlier. And then when you take it away, people become really uncomfortable. And then you're uncertain about what you're going to do next and how are you going to take care of yourself. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to be frustrated. But sometimes
she's looking at me when she
not being personal, but no, it's really important to maybe sit in that space and maybe come up with your solution to the problem, or maybe go to another human rather to the box and say, yeah, I'm really uncomfortable with this. I'm not clear about what to do next. Another person. That's why peer-to-peer work works.
Yes.
Because I pulled our team together to come up with this conversation. And what we came up with is that you just got to cope with being unclear. Just got to deal.
Whether you want to or not, because that's how you get to the other side.
And it sounds so easy.
Listen, I can tell you, I've utilized Caddy this last week because I was uncomfortable about certain things. And she told me it's all going to be fine. More or less. But at the end
not to diminish your discomfort.
No, but I think the other thing that I took away from that radio show that you told me to listen to, to bring it kind of circle back to that, that uncertainty can bring growth. And that's what I took away from it, because through the transition, that Minnesota Recovery Connection, because I know you announced the new location, that was hard on me. Harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
Because I made sure my team was okay with everything. And then I kind of forgot about myself.
Yep.
And so it's hitting me in phases
of
what I'm realizing.
Yeah.
But I'm taking this now. I'm seeing this as a moment of growth.
Begrudgingly.
Begrudgingly
in her eyes.
But I'm gonna change the mindset of it.
Yeah.
And see it as a moment of growth, an opportunity to change how I look at things, and not everything has to stay the same as much as I want it to be the same.
Because same is comfortable.
Yeah.
We don't want to turn over the apple cart.
Yeah.
We want to just keep on going. But as I have said to Sarah, is as a person who's a little longer in the tooth, been around the planet a little longer, if you can accept the changes that are going to happen, the next change will not be as hard.
Yes.
And having had a lot of change in my life and having to make a lot of personal adjustments, it isn't easy, but I'm like, okay,
Here we are.
Here we are. And this is going to sound terrible. Nobody died. Nobody is, in the
Yeah.
hospital. Nobody is in harm. We're just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And I think because you've gone through multiple moves, I
Mhm.
have not.
Yeah.
So
Just with Minnesota Recovery
Yeah.
Connection. Forget about my whole rest of my life.
so
Yeah.
that I think that's why it hit me.
Yeah. So we're about ready to take our second break. I want to say thank you. We are
Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution here on AM 950.
the progressive radio station. Woohoo!
We'll be right back.
So good.
That's familiar.
I just love that. Thank you, Aaron Fitzgerald.
That was comfortable because we knew
Oh.
it.
Yes, that was nice. So thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution. My name is Caddy Frink. I'm your host with
Sarah Kemp,
we are from,
Minnesota Recovery Connection.
and we are talking somewhat about uncomfortableness, being uncertain. And one of the other things I want to just mention in that if we can tolerate a little bit of discomfort and uncertainty and grow with it, like you said, Sarah, you're going to get stronger.
Yeah.
You are going to get stronger because you've made it to the other side. If you're going to have some questions, you're going to need to get some information. You might see a therapist. You might see a doctor. You might have to deal with some medications if things are overwhelming. But you will 99% of the time be okay. You're just not happy about the
No.
changes.
But when you get to the other side, at least in my experience, I've always been grateful to go through this.
Growth process.
Yes, even though it's not fun in the moment,
No.
but when you look back.
Yeah. And I think about it from my own personal story. I mean, I gave up alcohol. I had to give up. I lost my car. I was so uncomfortable
Yeah.
for a year. I had none of the things that I relied on. I couldn't see my grandma. I was just annoyed with the world. But once I got to the other side, I got a year in recovery and I got those things back. I'm like, okay, guess what I'm not going to do again?
Exactly. Because you know what it's like without.
Right. I learned through some hard truths that I made a huge ass mess out of myself and some other people's lives. But now things are much better.
Yes.
Yes.
25 years now.
25 years. Gosh, golly, jeepers. So, what we want to close the show on is that recognizing that summertime is a time when people have a lot of we have a lot of fun.
Yes.
We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of opportunity to do a lot of different stuff, but it also can be challenging.
Mhm.
So Sarah's going to name off a few things that are going on
Wow.
in the Minneapolis, St. Paul, and local out areas. I'm going to remember a couple of things that was on a list.
So tomorrow or Saturday, today, July 11th, Recovery Alliance Duluth is having a barbecue and yard games from 1 to 3 at Lincoln Park, and it's free.
Brad rocks it.
They
just do-
have a lot of they're
they're
on
always-
top of it.
Yep.
Let's see, Saturday, July 18th, We Recovery in Alexandria. They're having a picnic in the park. I do not know how to say that lake name.
Spell it.
So Lake BROPHY County Park.
Okay, we're just not going to even
Yep.
try. We'll just spell
Nope.
it for you,
So
folks.
that event is from 11 to 2. And also with Recovery Alliance Duluth, they are having a baseball night at Wade Stadium, July 26th, which is a Sunday. That is from 2:45 to 5 p.m. And that is it for the month of July.
There are
For what I
can
know.
quickly glance, and
Yeah.
admittedly, folks, those who are listening, I forgot to list it off the office. So there's a few more events. We'll get to that next week too.
Yes.
But there's where I found most of these. So anybody who's in the recovery community who's looking for things to do, I went to the Marco MARCO recovery website, went to their events calendar. And what Sarah read off, what they have posted on their calendar. But if you go down a little bit further, go to the places, connect with a recovery community organization. organization, an RCO. They have all these recovery community organizations throughout the state.
Mhm.
And I went into each one of their calendars and I probably found about 10 different
Oh,
things
wow.
that were going on. There was a breakfast someplace. There was another picnic going on. I know St. Cloud in the next couple of weeks
Or
has
doing
their
something.
at the end of the month, I think they have their Rockin' in the Park.
Yes.
So what we want to do, and one of the things that I've also picked up is there's a lot of free things that are going on all throughout. There's the Aquatennial celebration is going on in the Twin Cities in the next couple of weeks. There's so many park events that are going on. So you go to your local park calendar, go to Minnehaha Falls, you'll find things. Como Zoo, the conservatory. What we always want to do is we want to let people know that recovery doesn't have to be boring and it doesn't have to be isolating. You might even go to some of these places by yourself, but you're out in humanity.
And getting out into the world and seeing things, seeing things.
And seeing things that you get to see with new eyes, right?
Yeah.
When
you're going to remember them.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, folks. That probably hurt your ears. That was so funny. Yes, you will remember them, number one. But you are seeing them through new eyes.
Yes.
Recovery eyes. That's where I was going. Sarah went to the dark side. I'll bring it to the light side.
Sorry, folks.
But it's true.
Yes.
It's true. When we're lost under substance use, we do a lot of fun things. And then the next day we have no idea what happened. Lord knows happened to me more times than I care to remember.
Yes.
But what we want people to remember is that, getting outside or going to a theater, going to a museum,
hanging out with friends,
hanging out with family, finding new communities to hang out with. I know there's a bowling event going on up in Brainerd. I can't remember when it is, with one of the organizations up there.
Lighthouse Beginnings,
yes, up in Brainerd. Can't tell you exactly which weekend. I think it was next weekend. But that's the thing. There are places and spaces where you can go where they might have chemicals available, they might have alcohol available, and somebody could possibly have other substances available, but you can just leave that over there and have your fun.
Meet new people,
get your happy juice, your dopamine flowing the natural way.
Exactly.
Yes.
Without all the extracurriculars.
Yes. So we hope that this helps people understand that being uncomfortable is okay. Yes. Coping with that discomfort is part of life.
Yeah, because it's not going away. It's always gonna circle back some way or another.
Things are going to change. And when we just have radical acceptance, it's not comfortable, but if I use the tools I have in my toolbox, if I find new tools, if I ask for help, I can more than likely get better. And then there was a employee in our organization who had a very extraordinarily sad event happen. And if you know somebody that is struggling with a lot of drama and trauma going on around them, we need to step in. Don't step back saying, oh, they're depressed, they're sad, they're not well, I'll just leave them alone.
That's when you need to check in on them.
And when we talk about a devastating event, we'll just leave it at that. It was as bad as it gets. And so somebody's passed away, and that is when these things can happen. So when a person who is struggling both with chemicals or not, or just with life, please be a little uncomfortable and walk into that space for somebody, because you might be exactly at the right time in the right place. And then maybe it won't, but you tried.
And you can say you tried.
And that might be the change, or it might be the change that you even needed. You needed to walk into a space where this is could lead to your own kind of reflection on secondary trauma stress we talk about, could lead to your own kind of like flipping into a bad place. But then you have the tools to help yourself.
Yes.
So as we close out this, Sarah, are you a little bit more comfortable with being uncomfortable?
I am now.
Okay.
Yes, I am. And in the last 30 seconds, I want to give a shout out to Josie and Rachel and Patricia. They have been a part of our recovery core team this past term, and today is Josie's last day. So thank you, Josie, for all you do. And Rachel and Patricia, thank you for all you do. And we get you for next week. So yay.
Yes.
Oh, thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution here on AM 950.
And also the Walk for Recovery, September 15th.
12th.
September 12th at the state capitol. Our Rally Cax game, September 15th.
Yes.
At the Twin Stadium. This is Minnesota Recovery Connection bringing to you Redefining Recovery, Recovery Revolution.